Hello, good day to you, or good evening, wherever you might be. I'm Anthony, and I'm the founder of Alchemy of Breath, and I am experimenting now with a new way of outreach rather than newsletters with a video. So hopefully this video will arrive to you intact and with some words underneath in case you're sitting on a bus or a train or something and you can't listen to this on the speaker. We had a beautiful Breathe the World today. We had 200 people, and the numbers of people showing up to breathe together are increasing every week. And I want to thank those of you that were able to join us and lend your breath to a common purpose of restoration and vitality in life. There were a couple of things that happened today. And first of all was that I asked a question, and that question is a question I'd like to put to you as well. And that was, what would your next move be if you wanted to show, in a risky way, show your love to somebody that you haven't shown yet, or maybe you've withdrawn or withheld but needs to be expressed. So what would your next step be to show someone your love that would be a little bit risky for you? We had lots of answers in the chat box, of course. We always do. It's a very lively chat box, and a lot of people actually appropriating the question to themselves, which is just as valid, because I really do hold that everything that we feel for other people, we need to be able to feel for ourselves first, in the full spectrum of emotions. So there were some wonderful answers there, and we also got to share our love together and come into the same space. And especially at this time when there is so much going on and we see the great reset that so many of us have asked to happen. And we also feel the sadness and the grief for those of us that need to be taken ill or even have to leave this planet. How sad that is, and how we get to hold that in ourselves too. And of course, the questions that we get to ask ourselves while this experience is happening, like, what is the virus in me? And like my wife Amy says, what would it take to make love go viral? I think this is perhaps what it does take, a sense of outreach that I'm receiving from people I haven't spoken to in a long time is just wonderful, and the sense of heartful warmth I feel for the planet as a whole is far greater in this period of reflection and contemplation and rest. The other thing that came up for us today, and this is often happens, that we would choose someone who's in some kind of challenge or difficulty and focus our attention as a group as we breathe onto that person. And so about once a month or so I get a request from somebody who's in difficulty. And this time I wanted to devote the session to my sister-in-law, who's one of my best friends, who has discovered she has cancer, and to have 200 people putting their wishes for Martina in the chat box was a little overwhelming. It was difficult for me to focus on being present because I was so moved by the experience and the show of love that came. So I'm going to ask you if you would be kind enough to write a little note to Martina. She is about 54 years old. She's a very soft soul, a very gentle soul that has only lived to love other people and to give. And she's been diagnosed in Italy with esophagus cancer, and her whole esophagus is 80% closed, and she can't really eat very effectively. Her body won't accept food. And right now in Italy, it's very difficult to get treatment, as you might imagine, or to feel safe when you get treatment too. So if you would care to write a few lines of your love and support and send them to me at Anthony@alchemyofbreath.com, I will be sure to forward those on to her. I just love the idea of an avalanche of support coming her way. And so I'll probably save them up and put them all in one email, otherwise it will probably overload her inbox. But I thank you anyway. If you can, perhaps next time you light a candle or see a bird fly past that's beautiful, you can remember the love we have for these people who are overwhelmed by what's going on right now. And finally, I don't, there's so much talk about the virus right now, and there are so many opinions being cast, and I just want us all to take a few breaths and to come back to being present with what is, and the perhaps disproportion of human emotional reaction to opinions and ideas, and our need to take a position. What would it look like if we hold it all, if we hold the uncertainty, if we really do embrace this human confusion, and we learn to grow bigger as a result of really having to stretch ourselves to be present with it all, with the challenges and the suffering of humanity, but also with the joy that we have asked for this, and we wanted the world to change. The world is breathing easier. There aren't so many planes flying. We thought it was going to be lack of oil that would stop us from being able to move, and yet it's something that's been quite surprising for us. So what sort of normal would you like to have? What sort of new normal would you like to have in your life? What would that look like? Because we really get to start afresh. And I say that from this house that I've been gifted by some dear, dear people who breathe with us, because Amy and I can't get back to Italy or to Asher, to our retreat centre there. Anyway, I ask you also to watch this space, because Asher is going to go online. The Alchemy School of Healing Arts is going to be going online, so there'll be some developments upcoming in the next few days and weeks. And those of you that were with us last Friday, we're going to be doing another session, another 2 sessions, a morning session and an evening session, both Amy and myself, which will be an Asher production. And for those of you that don't know, Asher is actually also a physical retreat centre that we purchased in Italy, with acres and acres of fresh organic land with streams and a natural spring, and it sits under a town that's mostly empty. So our intention is to create intentional community there, a conscious community. If you're interested, you can go to our website, asheritaly.com, which is just a very simple introduction, but does describe our mission and our vision. And now that mission and vision is being transferred to the virtual world while we wait to be able to take over the property and to really bring it back to its full, vibrant self for you, for us. So thank you for being with me, and I look forward to more of you showing up for Breathe the World. Remember, it's on at 9:30 in the morning UK time and 5 p.m. UK time. And for those of you that get this email before the 29th of March, please know that on the 29th the UK clocks change. So you may need to Google just to be sure you don't show up an hour early or an hour late, depending on where you are and how it all works, because I tend to get confused. But we purposely give one time, one UK time, so everybody can take their own responsibility to check what that means for them. We used to try to put down like 10 cities times, but then when you find out that Eastern Australia has a time change, a different day than Western Australia, and then India, and all the little individualities were too much for us to study all the time and get right. We started to get it wrong, so we simplified and do it just as an English time. So thank you for being with me. I'll join you again soon, and meanwhile send you my blessings and love.